Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and this is News and Week in Review, where we're going to dive into a few news pieces, the creator spotlight of the week, the videos of the week, the games I play, the games I covered, I should say, all of that and more, links and timestamps to everything down below. Let's start off as we usually do with news. We only have a few news pieces to go over this week, but the first one is an interesting one because it's kind of indicative of the changes to the industry that we're seeing with all the tariffs and all that. But Splatter announced that Indonesia will not be coming to retailers in the US. They threw a little bit of shade at game nerds for not, a little bit of shade, just a tiny bit of shade. It wasn't like a ton of shade, it was like, whatever, a little bit of small shade at game nerds. But they basically talk about how Indonesia will unfortunately not be coming to the US because of the tariffs. The tariffs make things so that they're more expensive. Various stores and anyone needs to make decisions around what they're stocking. And because of that, Indonesia will not be coming to retailers in the US, at least not right now. We'll see if anything changes around that, but that's definitely news because, you know, that's an example of, did I say game nerds? I apologize. Not game nerds, GTS. GTS is not game nerds. I'm glad I caught that. I hope no one, stopped the video after game nerds and then never saw that correction. GTS distribution is a fulfillment company. It is not game nerds at all. I don't know why I mixed those two up. Anyways, that said, this is one of those impacts, one of the first actual impacts we are seeing, but I'm sure we will see a lot more as the year goes on. Then over here we have, this is actually a little late as far as news goes, but it's cool, so I'm going to talk about it anyway. We have the Dominion app. This is not to be confused with Dominion digitally online, but the Dominion app on your phone or on Steam for that matter. If you have the Dominion app, they have campaigns coming February 1st, so we're a little behind over here. But nonetheless, campaigns are going to be a linked series of, I believe, 10 games with a degree of digital effects that would not be possible in a tabletop game. Think the things they've done with Hearthstone, how sometimes digitally you can do things that you can't do in the tabletop space. But they're going to have a series of linked 10 games, these kingdoms with unique effects and unique changes to the gameplay, giving you a different experience. If you like Dominion, this is a good reminder to go ahead and jump back in on the app. The app is incredibly well done. I highly recommend it. I play a lot more Dominion because of the app. Although I honestly did just start sleeving my second edition yesterday. I have Dominion 2nd Edition, the full tabletop collection, and I finally started sleeving and putting it together to start playing it more physically, because I've been playing my old 1st edition, which not there's anything wrong with that. It's totally fine, but I have the 2nd edition. Why not play it? We have Darrington Press announcing Solar Gardens, build the rooftop gardens of tomorrow in this 2 to 5 player tile drafting game. I am surprised there's not a solo mode. I usually find nowadays more and more there are solo modes, especially from like more established companies. It kind of comes as almost an expectation, but in this case, no solo mode, but nonetheless, 2 to 5 player tile drafting game. I'm definitely intrigued of it. I like drafting in general. I like building things out with tiles. I am curious to see whether this is one I'll enjoy. Time will tell on that, but for right now, this is coming. It's coming to you at some point in summer 2025. Then we have over on GameFound, we have Reichbusters Reloaded. This is not news per se. We knew this was happening. We knew Monolith had taken over Reichbusters from Mythic Games, but we now have a campaign page you can go ahead and follow. In case you are interested in Reichbusters Reloaded, they did confirm there will be an upgrade kit for those who have the 1st edition who just want to upgrade to the reloaded version of the game. So there is that in case you are someone who has the 1st edition. But that's Reichbusters Reloaded coming to you from Monolith at some point, time undetermined, at least undetermined so far. I'm not seeing a time over here, so I'm going to say time undetermined until we find out more. Anyways, that is what we have as far as news this week. Not a lot, like I said, but we do have our Creator Spotlight. Our Creator Spotlight this week is going to be Grant Lyon from Grant's Game Rex. Why Grant? Because, well, honestly, I just haven't done him yet, and he's a great guy and deserves to be in the Creator Spotlight at some point or another. But Grant's Game Rex has a variety of presences in the tabletop space, and also a variety of presences in the non-tabletop space. You can catch his Dry Bar Comedy Special if you want to check that out. He's in general is a comedian, just a general comedian, but he's also a board game comedian. So he does comedy routines, which you can catch on YouTube or a variety of places. Like I said, this Dry Bar Special. You can also catch his general board game comedy at many conventions. He does comedy specials at a variety of board game conventions, specifically focused around board games. You've never seen, well, unless you've seen Grant, you've probably never seen an entire comedy special devoted around this hobby, because the intersection of the interested people who want to watch a board game special are not not a large intersection. There's only so many jokes you can make about owning 500 board games that a non-board gamer would find funny. And that said, anyways, his comedy is great. His content is great as well. He's not just a comedian. He covers a variety of games in a variety of ways. Over on his YouTube channel, you can see his best games coming to retail. That's a regular series he does, talking about games and expansions coming to retail, especially if you're over inundated with crowdfunding coverage and you want to get a little bit more retail coverage. Well, he has you covered over there. Past that, his content over on TikTok will have you, I believe he does shorts on YouTube too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he does his shorts over on YouTube and on TikTok. He's very popular on TikTok with over 100,000 subscribers. I don't even know the number. It's a high number. But that said, he does a lot of content as far as short form content, recommendations, explanations, all of that kind of stuff. But then past all of that, he's just a genuine pleasure of a human being. He's the kind of person who's always got a good word to say, always has a smile on his face, always will lend a listening ear, be able to talk to you, willing to talk to you, and always seems like a happy person to just be around. And then on top of all that, yes, we keep going over here, he's also involved in the Horizons Fellowship. This is a program run by Gamma that is tries to give you an accelerator program for various creators in the space, whether you're running a game store, designing a game, tries to help people get up and running, to give them a leg up, to help out creators, and he's a big part of that Horizons Fellowship program, working with the creators and with Gamma to help, and also other content creators to help facilitate their success. So again, he's funny, he's board game funny, he covers board games, he plays board games, he's a good person to be around, he's helpful, he's happy, and he generally helps other people out as well. Oh, and he tells you which games are coming to retail. So there's a whole lot that Grant does. If you haven't been following his content, you can follow it over on TikTok if you use that, over on Instagram, I'm pretty sure he has an Instagram, and definitely over on YouTube, which is where I tend to consume my content, but all of those, I'll try to include links to all of that down below. And that is our creator spotlight, which means it's time to go into the videos of the week. The videos we played this past week, the videos I had on the channel this past week, not the videos we played, that would be the games we played. The videos I had on the channel this past week, we had a month in review going up on Sunday. This is the usual coverage of the past month, just some general highlights, best games, worst games, all of that kind of stuff, best videos from other creators, all of these kinds of general roundups of the month. That went up on Sunday. Monday was 2 back or not to back. We won't have a 2 back, not to back this week, but let's talk about that in the video. The Monday was 2 back, not to back, going over a bunch of crowdfunding campaigns. Not a big week. There were like 11 campaigns, only 8 of which were board game focused as opposed to board game adjacent. So a smaller video. On Wednesday, was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. We had 2023 games that I most want to play. This is basically me covering, well, the games from 2023 that I most want to table that I haven't been able to do so. Although I will say, since filming that video, I believe I've already played 2 of the games that were in that video. I know I played animated. I'm trying to remember. I think there was one more that I played. But either way, you can check that out if you want to see the games that I most want to play, or at least one video covering the games I most want to play. I say one video because I actually will have a series of 3 videos talking about games I want to play from a variety of different sectors. On Board Game Arena, games in my collection, 2023 games, all of those, they'll be coming slowly but surely on the channel. Past that, we also had the weekly live. I don't actually know what was in the weekly live because honestly, in preparation for the fact that I'm traveling to Gamma next week, I'm filming this weekly update a little earlier than I typically would. So the weekly live, it was fun, maybe, I don't honestly know, but the weekly live went up on Thursday. We can talk about that later. Outside of that, we have the Where Are They Now going up on Friday. This is the look back that I take a look at the games I played for the first time a year ago and 5 years ago and give you my thoughts on those games. This is, Where Are They Now for February. A bunch of, it's actually a smaller month. There weren't a lot of games this month compared to usual months. I don't know if that's because I didn't play a lot of new games or if I just didn't log a lot of new games. And then we also had a deluxe game roundup, deluxeification and upgrade series. This is a monthly video, generally monthly. Once in a while we miss, but it's generally a monthly video series on the channel where I talk about game upgrades, deluxeifications, and all of that. The one that was definitely worth checking out this time round is there's a playmat organizer that I really like, and so far has been my go-to method for storing my playmats and taking them out of the attic, which is until now where they have been stored, in a box to prevent dust, but they were in a box in the attic because either way, I like the playmat organizer. I'm currently a fan. I did have a minor critique in it, but hopefully they fix it. It is a prototype, but check that out in case you, well, want to. That as far as the general videos of the week. As far as the games covered this week on the channel, we had a variety of things. We had Lorescape covered this past Saturday. Less of a game, more of a terrain system. Think The Source, think Heroescape. A very cool system, but, it's terrain. It's terrain for your D&D experiences, or honestly, any experience that could benefit from that. Whether Warhammer, D&D, Malediction was one Meg talked about in the video. A variety of gaming experiences experiences that can benefit from cool terrain that's easy to put together. Then we also had Stalker How to Play, done by Asaf from Easy Board Games, a How to Play for Stalker, the board game from Awakened Realms. I love Stalker, big fan of it, and Asaf apparently did as well, because you can check out a review on his channel, because he did a How to Play, but then also gave his thoughts on the game experience. Then from there we had Champions of Wind and Fire, a game about crafting dragons to compete in tournaments. This was a preview done by Meg, a sponsored preview done by Meg, that I unfortunately did not get a chance to table myself, so I can't give my thoughts on. There was Point Galaxy, a review for Point Galaxy from Flat Out Games. This is a crowdfunding campaign that they're doing for Point Galaxy and for Propolis, I think it's called, two games, and I did the Point Galaxy review together with my daughter, went up on Tuesday. Overall enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It's good, but in a world full of a lot of good games, which makes it a little harder to stand out. Then later, we had the Stock How to Play the Champions of Wind and Fire, we had Point Galaxy, Twisted Realms. We had a preview done by Twisted Realms, a preview done by Meg for Twisted Realms, a series of 3 games from Inside Up. The 3 games, I don't remember all the names offhand, but there's Tug of War, there's Crits and Tricks, and then there's another one that's like Thieves Den, maybe called Thieves Den, something like that. From those 3 games, I did actually have a chance, this was a sponsored preview, but I did have a chance to play all of those games. I thought Tug of War was a pretty good back and forth as far as trying to assemble a crew and then draft back and forth trying to win. I overall enjoyed that one. Crits and Tricks is one that I think it's a good trick-taking game with a degree of RPG elements thrown in that kind of did work. I like the experience overall. I do want to play it more, especially at higher player counts, because I played it at lower player counts, and I don't know if it's as good at lower player counts, but I liked it. I like the concept of what it's doing. I do wonder if it would be too chaotic, but I like the puzzle of trying to win. That might be my favorite from the 3. And then the last one, the Thieves or whatever, the Thieves Den or whatnot, that one I just frankly didn't enjoy enough. I thought it was a little too procedural. It wasn't bad, but I felt that the game was a little too procedural, at least for my personal liking. Although I will say, I know Meg played the solo mode of that and liked the solo mode a lot. I didn't play the solo mode, so I can't talk about that. Anyways, that's Twisted Realms. Outside of that, we then had a Catopomp, a preview for Catopomp that went up on Thursday. There will be a gameplay of it as well. I'll talk about it after that video goes up. And then there was an Elden Ring unboxing. The mysterious Elden Ring unboxing that disappeared went back up on Thursday, so you can go ahead and watch that in case you missed it the first time around. And that's basically the videos that we had, the games I covered this past week on the channel. As far as today we're going to have, well, 2 videos, as we usually do. We will have a Propolis review. This is the, okay, I said there's it's Point Galaxy and Propolis, or it's Propolis. I don't know how to pronounce it, honestly, unfortunately. But Propolis, whatever it is, the other game in that Flat Out Games crowdfunding campaign, that'll be a review for that going up today. And then there'll also be a preview for Bonesway Lumineers Refuge, something like that. I don't know the full name, but a Bonesway preview. This is an upcoming crowdfunding campaign. As far as next week we will have a bunch of things, but also, like I said already, we will not have a 2-back and back-to-back. Like I said, I will be at Gamma. I will not have time to film a 2-back and back-to-back this week. We'll be back next week with crowdfunding coverage, but for this week, we'll have a few things going up this week, amongst many, many other videos. I'm going to have a video going up on Sunday called Is Board Game Content Creation Broken? Or Is Tabletop Content Creation Broken? Because I do think that there are elements of it that are broken. It's a topical video. You feel free to watch it. Definitely a spicy title, but I think the content backs it up. Outside of that, we're going to have a level up coverage of some stats, the board games that were checked out of the library, the most played games, things like that, my played games, just some general informational backlog of stuff from Level Up Retreat. And then also on Monday, instead of 2-back and back, we'll be doing my top 10 or maybe top 15, we'll see, my top crowdfunding creators. These are specifically the creators who launch a game that when they do so, I am interested in checking out their campaign just because I know that they launched a game. So a lot of things you can expect in there. I'm sure there'll be some that are definitely not a surprise, but then there will be some that I think might be a surprise to you as far as the creators that I am most looking forward to when they launch a campaign. That's my phone dinging, but honestly, this video is almost over, so I'm not going to bother to mute it now. But past that, down from there, we are onto the games on the couch over here. Games on the couch, as usual, these are games I hope to be playing this week, and we have several over here. We have the 4 Shuffle expansions. I love 4 Shuffle. I've talked about it a lot, and I have these expansions ready to go. I hope to be playing these this weekend. We have Little Alchemists, which I started playing it when I first got it, and then I haven't played it in a while now, and I kind of forgot about it, but I want to finish playing through this because I did overall enjoy the deductive way it slowly kind of adds this puzzle to the game experience. We have Donald Duck's Happy Camper, a game from Maestro Media and by Wolfgang Kramer and Daryl Andrews. This is a re-implementation of an older title that I never played, and I am intrigued to see whether this is a good game or one that's just not for me. And then lastly, and this one I will admit I don't know if I'll get to it this week or not, but we have Monster Hunter World Iceborne that just showed up. This is not, I don't know exactly what this is as far as final production, pre-production, but the pledge manager for this is still open if you want to check it out. I will be trying to get you coverage. I'm not doing an unboxing on it, but I hope to be getting you some degree of coverage on it before the pledge manager closes. I will see if I'm able to. It is not a small rule book, but the good news is I have a 5-hour road trip ahead of me, which means I should hopefully be able to get some of this done, if not all of it, and then table it as soon as I get back to then get you coverage before the pledge manager closes, hopefully. Anyways, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I appreciate you being here. Have an excellent weekend, and as always, I hope you have a good one.